So, Manchester United have finally signed Bryan Mbeumo. There were several rejected bids, with the final price, £65 million with £6 million in add-ons. Brentford got the price they asked for at the start of negotiations, and United got their new attacking midfielder. But was this transfer really sensible? Manchester United are known for their overpayments on players, and a £71 million package sounds large. In this video, we'll analyse the fee that United have paid for Bryan Mbeumo by comparing his transfer to others this summer window. We'll also take a look at whether there were cheaper options on the market that United may have missed out on. There's no doubt that Mbeumo is a good player, but have Manchester United once again overpaid for their talent? Let's find out. Before we analyse the price, we need to check that Mbeumo has the quality to play for United. I previously looked at Mbeumo on my website, however, it's always worth refreshing the memory on his talent. Looking at his numbers last season compared to other attacking players in Europe's top 5 leagues, we can see clear strengths in Mbeumo's game. He's a creative force, both through carries, shown by high percentile rankings for carries into the penalty area and take-on successes, and passes, shown by high ranking for progressive passes, key passes, and passes into the penalty area. Off the ball, Mbeumo's 91st percentile ranking for dual success bodes well for Amorim in regards to pressing. Don't be fooled by his lower percentile rankings for tackles and interceptions. These numbers are possession adjusted, and Brentford ranked 15th for possession in the Premier League last season. His low aerial dual success isn't much of an issue either. Mbeumo is 171 centimeters, and attacking midfielders aren't usually called to win aerial battles, so this can be safely ignored. Mbeumo likes to act out wide on the right hand side of the pitch. He can cut inside onto his left foot for shots, or make passes into the penalty area from that right half space. He can function as a touchline winger using his pace and dribbling ability, or as an inverted winger, the type of versatility that Amorim likes with his attacking midfielders. He has also played in a striker role for Brentford, granting United some positional flexibility. However, Mbeumo's top trait is his top percentile ranking for non-penalty goals minus expected goals. In other words, he's in the premier group of finishers in Europe. He doesn't shoot much, and doesn't shoot from especially great positions, but when he does pull the trigger, he normally hits his target. Now that we've established Mbeumo's talents, let's take a look at the financials behind the transfer. There were two reasons as to why Brentford demanded £70 million for Bryan Mbeumo. The first was United's purchase of Matheus Cunha for £62.5 million. Brentford believed their player to be better than the Brazilian. The second reason was due to other transfers that were taking place during negotiations. Anthony Elanga was signed for £55 million, and Noni Madueke was about to be signed for £52 million. Again, Brentford believed Mbeumo to be better than those players, and so demanded a price that reflected that. So the question is, despite those reasons, was Mbeumo really worth that much? First, looking at Matheus Cunha, one thing to immediately notice is the Brazilian's top percentile ranking for XG over performance. United this season have signed last season's top 2 XG over performers, which, depending on regression to the mean, could be a very smart or statistically short-sighted move. Now, making comparisons to Mbeumo directly, Cunha offers slightly more creatively via passes, but offers less through carries. Whilst Mbeumo is more successful in defensive duels, Cunha offers a lot more volume through his shots, which coupled with his finishing ability makes him a more likely goal threat. So, can we say that Mbeumo should cost more than Cunha? To Brentford, the pure fact that Mbeumo racked up 20 goals and 7 assists last season, more than Cunha's 15 goals and 6 assists, means that the Cameroonian should require a larger fee. However, when we look at both players' underlying numbers, as we've just done, we can now argue that Mbeumo isn't worth £8.5 million more than Cunha. Noni Madueke's move to Arsenal is another transfer that puts a question mark on United's decision to pay Brentford's asking price. A quick look at the shape of his percentiles shows us that Madueke is a lot more active off the ball than Mbeumo. Off the ball, where Mbeumo excels in quality, Madueke excels in volume. He ranks in the top percentile for carries into the penalty area, and the second highest percentile for progressive carries. A high ranking for expected goals suggests that Madueke is adept at getting himself into good goal scoring positions with those carries, and he's not afraid to shoot either. All those stats aside, however, what we need to note is that Arsenal paid an initial £48 million for Madueke. Is Mbeumo worth approximately £20 million more than Madueke? The key difference is likely in squad role. Mbeumo has been Brentford's talisman this season, and would require the club to head into the transfer market to find a suitable, first-team ready replacement. However, Madueke has just been purchased from a club who collect wingers for fun, so selling Madueke would hardly have been a massive inconvenience for Enzo Maresca. Given this scenario, that £48 million transfer fee is a massive bargain at a perfect price for Arsenal. The opposite of the scenario United found themselves in regarding Mbeumo. Either way, Based off of Madueke's move and the anchoring heuristic played by Brentford through Matheus Cunha, United will probably feel like they've overpaid slightly. To save face, United executives could point to the signing of Anthony Elanga as a reason to justify the money they've spent. Whilst the ex-United player does have value in his carrying, he doesn't stack up to the numbers that Mbeumo put up last season in all areas. Newcastle paid £52 million for the Swede, and arguably, Mbeumo is around £15 million better than Elanga. So, to conclude this section of analysis, we can say that whilst United probably did pay a little bit more than they needed to, it's not a gross overpayment of the likes we've seen in the past. Arguably, United's second rejected bid of £62.5 million, the same amount they paid for Matheus Cunha, was the fair market price. All of this is to say, paying £65 million plus add-ons for Bryan Mbeumo was a good deal. Not perfect, but sensible enough. Now that we've established that £65 million is a fair price for Mbeumo, we can question whether he was the right signing to go for. Was there a cheaper, more cost-effective option on the market? For that, we can look at similarity scores to see which players played most like Mbeumo last season. Using a few mathematical techniques, we can obtain similarity scores for players based on style-based metrics, such as eagerness to carry and progressive pass receptions. United have made it apparent that their focus is on Premier League proven players that can add immediate quality to the first team squad. So, we need to restrict our search to Premier League players. Restricting the search this way gives some interesting results. Matheus Cunha comes in as the fourth most similar player to Mbeumo in the Premier League. We can also see Omari Hutchinson, who's been picked up by Brentford as Mbeumo's replacement, as the youngest player on the shortlist. The name that stands out on this list though is Eze. A player linked to Arsenal currently, Eze provides a lot of creativity through his dangerous passing and is used to playing in both back 4 and back 3 systems. However, I don't think this signing would be correct for United either. Eze's progression largely comes from passing and not carrying, something that makes him more like Matheus Cunha rather than Mbeumo. On top of that, Eze's current market value is £48 million, the same as Mbeumo's value during this period. Eze would have likely been a good backup option if Brentford were to further increase their asking price for Mbeumo. However, in this current market, no other player provided a better option than Bryan Mbeumo. This was a signing that United had to make, even if it meant overpaying very slightly. As far as Manchester United transfers have gone over the past few years, this is one of the better ones. And well, £70 million on Mbeumo looks a lot better than £70 million on Rasmus Højlund right now, and a lot better than the £82 million spent on Antony. What do you think? Have United made another poor financial decision, or is this a rare win for the club? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and check out the Backseat Baller website for more. Thanks for watching.